Have you ever thought to yourself, why is everybody so obsessed with buying real estate? Why are my family, friends, and random people on the internet trying to convince me that I need to buy real estate? What is really the benefit? I'm going to show you today how an initial investment of $13,000 for a down payment on your first townhome or condo, how that can be turned into a 1,000% return on investment, and over your lifetime can earn you about $13 million. Let's get into it. I'm going to show you an example of your average Joe, how they can just buy a regular townhome or condo for their first primary property, and then selling that one, jumping into their first single family home, detached hopefully, and then selling that one, jumping into their dream home, and then after a long time in their dream home, being able to sell that to downsize and purchase their retirement home. This example does not even include any rental properties, so if you plan to have rental properties, throughout your lifetime, kudos, better for you. You're going to earn more money than what I'm already going to show you today. All right, so just as a disclaimer, for these 4 properties, I am using a 5% interest rate on a 30-year loan, and I am using 8% as the appreciation rate year over year for each property. So I know that appreciation is different every single year. Sometimes it can be 6%, sometimes it could be negative 2%. Sometimes it can be 18%, like we've seen 18 to 21% in the past year, and we're expected to see that this year as well. So the averages or the highs and lows can be super different, but I'm using 8% as an average for appreciation rate. All right, ready to get started? So property number 1, I like to call get in when you fit in. And this means get in the real estate market the second your finances fit in. That means your income and your cash are essential for buying your first property. So the second you qualify with your income and your cash, go ahead and purchase. Now with this first property, I'm estimating that we're purchasing in the year 2022. Your age might be 30 years old. The purchase price might be about $450,000. Down payment might be about $13,500. Let's talk about that down payment for a second. This is your original investment for all of these properties, for the first investment, first property in your entire life. It's going to be the most difficult to get this down payment. Some people get 2 jobs just to get extra cash just for the purchase of their very first home. The good news is once you're in, you're good. You don't need that extra job for the second purchase or the third purchase or the fourth purchase. It's only for that initial purchase that you really need to step it up, do everything you can, and follow your budget and save all your pennies. I promise you it's worth it. So we're using an interest rate of about 5%, loan term 30 years. So the loan amount that you're actually going to be financing is the purchase price minus the down payment. So that amount is $436,500. Now, if you look over to the right, we have an appreciation calculation. So we've got your original price of $450,000. We've got an appreciation rate of 8%. After the first year, your property should be worth about $486,000. After the second year, your property should be worth about $524,880. Remember, each year is going to be different. Last year was crazy appreciation. It was 18%. So if I plug that in there, you'll be able to just see after 2 years, you will have a new purchase price or new sale price of $626,000 if you wish to sell. Crazy. So that brings us to the sale price after 2 years. We're going to go ahead and use 8% appreciation. So your new sale price, if you decide to sell after 2 years, is $524,880. Now you might think that's your profit. It's not. you have to calculate in your agent cost, the cost to have an agent sell your property. As a seller, you pay the agent fees. As a buyer, you do not pay the agent fees. So we're using about 6% of the sale price for the agent costs. So that's about $31,000. Closing costs, so costs for like title and escrow and the lender fees, all of those things. They are about 1% of the sale price, so we're using $5,249. And then you have to remember there is a remaining loan amount. There's still a loan you have to pay off before you actually leave the property. So that amount, I got that number from an amortization schedule. So I actually have a link at the bottom of this sheet. It's called Amortization Schedule Calculator. So you can go ahead and open that up. You can input your mortgage amount, your loan terms, if it's 30 years, and then you can do a interest rate per year. Go ahead and calculate that. Show amortization schedule, and you can see, okay, after, so many months of paying it, this is my new balance. So again, that is how I got this remaining loan amount balance. All right, so what's your profit? Your profit is going to be the sale price minus the agent costs, minus the closing costs, minus the remaining loan amount. $64,848. Now, my recommendation for your very first property, try your best not to refinance this one unless it's actually an emergency and a catastrophic event happens. Then yes, obviously, you can refinance it. But I just recommend don't refinance it if you're planning to sell it within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years because you want to save all of that money in that first property. So that you can get as much equity as you possibly can so that you can have a greater down payment on the next one. All right, let's get into house number 2 because this is the really, really fun part. Property number 2, I like to call this one the first house. So your first property is probably going to be a townhome or a condo, 1 bedroom, maybe 2 bedroom if you're lucky. It's just you gotta get in as soon as you can fit into the market. Then you sell that property, get into your property number 2. I like to call it your first house because it's really what you imagined your first house would look like. Maybe it's an attached home still, but it's larger, or maybe it's a single family home. The really cool part about this first home is the down payment. Did we save for this down payment on property 2? No, we didn't. All we did was pay our mortgage for 2 years on our first property. And then we sold that property. And then the profit from property number 1 is the down payment for property number 2. Now let me ask you something. Does the average Joe typically have the ability to save $60,000 within 2 years? Heck no. That's an insane amount of money. I don't think you can save your way to a down payment on your single family home. You gotta invest somewhere, and I like to invest in real estate. All right, property number 2, let's just pretend it's 2 years later. We are 32 years old now. The year is 2024. Our purchase price is $900,000. The down payment, we were able to come up with a little bit more. Instead of 3%, we're able to put 6.6% down because of the appreciation of the first property. And once we sold it, again, we're using that sale of the home money as a down payment for our second home. Again, I'm using a 5% interest rate. I have no idea what interest rates are going to be like even next month. So I'm just using 5% as kind of a guess. We are doing a 30-year loan again. The loan amount, remember, is the purchase price minus the down payment. So the amount that we're actually financing is $840,000. Now let's say maybe you have 1 or 2 kids once you get in this home, or maybe you don't. And let's just pretend you stay there for 7 years. We're going to use an appreciation rate of 8%. After 7 years, the value of your home will be about $1,542,000. That's a lot. So what's the profit, Stephanie? Well, you can do the math now. You take the sale price after the 7 years, subtract the agent costs of about 6%, subtract the closing costs of about 1%, subtract the remaining loan amount. Don't forget you got a loan to pay off. Your profit is $695,000. Whoa, that's a lot of moolah. So let me just stop here. Pause the video, write a comment below. What the heck do you think about this profit? Do you believe it? Do you understand the numbers? Is it crazier than what you thought? Is it way less than you thought? Let me know what you think so far. If you're liking this video so far, please go ahead and give me some support for all the time that it took to put all this calculations together. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. You can also share this video with anybody you think might want to know this information. Oh, and did I tell you that I actually work for Loan Depot? So I am licensed in California. If you are looking to purchase or refinance or do anything with a mortgage loan, I can actually be the one to hold your hand throughout the whole process, or not hold your hand. I can just do the job for you. Feel free to reach out on my Instagram. It is @sirvin_California, serving all of California and their mortgage needs. All right, let's get back to property number 3. So after 7 years of living in property number 2, we have a profit of, again, $695,000. Whoa. Let's move down to property number 3. I call this one the dream home. After 7 years of living in the other place, you are now at an age of 39 years old, and the year is 2031. Your purchase price is $2 million. The interest rate, again, I'm just using 5% here. Our down payment that we're able to put down, we're able to put down 30%. That's insane. Loan term is still 30-year loan. Loan amount is now $1,400,000. And let's just pretend this is your dream home. You've got kids, or maybe you don't have kids, but maybe those kids are in high school, or maybe they're still in middle school, elementary school. They probably will live the majority of their childhood maybe in this home. And you might stay in this home for about 20 years. So maybe they've, gone off to college. You're still at home so they can come back whenever they want. And again, you are there in this home for 20 years. How much do you think you've earned in equity over 20 years? The new sale price of your home with an 8% appreciation is $9,321,000. Ooh, that number is insane. I would never want to buy a house for $9 million. But again, that's 30 years from now, so I guess that's not too crazy. So let's jump into the profit on property number 3. We have the sale price, again, after 20 years, is $9,321,000. The agent cost is 6%. Closing costs 1%. Remaining loan amount was $708,000. Not too shabby. Our profit is $7,960,000 profit. Now let's talk about why you would want to sell this dream home. Again, you've been in this dream home for 20 years. Your kids have come and gone from college. You kind of want to downsize, kick them out a little bit, and maybe you want a 1-story because maybe, you got a bad knee now because you're 59 years old. It's time to move. So let's go down here to property number 4. This one I like to call the retirement or downsize property. You are 59 years old. The year is 2051. Let's just pretend your purchase price is $3 million. Remember what our profit was from the last home? almost 8 mil. Almost 8 mil. Crazy. So you're going to purchase property number 4, your retirement home, with cash from the sale of your third property. So what the heck do you do with the rest? You can retire. All right, so let's just pretend you are staying in this home for 20 years. When you moved in, you were 59 years old. 20 years later, you're 79 years old. You need some help around. Maybe you're, I don't know, losing it a little. I hate to think about this stuff. This is so crazy. But again, I want to show what real estate can do for generations, for wealth. And again, you were in this property for 20 years. It's maybe time to get into an assisted living home. So after 20 years, the profit of this home, if you had purchased it at $3 million, you're going to make a profit because remember, you paid for this fourth home with cash. Your profit is going to be about $13 million. You are going to put that $13 million, probably a lot of it's going to go into your assisted living home, but the rest of it can go to your family. And this is really what makes me smile, makes my heart feel good about real estate, is you are starting generational wealth for your family. And as long as your children purchase at least one home and their children purchase at least one home, you're really creating, again, generational wealth. So let's remember the original investment was $13,000. I know, it's a lot of money to come up with. But after 49 years of just having one primary residence, you went from a $13,000 investment and you're now making $13 million and securing your safety net, your retirement. So 49 years of just you paying one mortgage for those 49 years can have an initial investment of $13,000 on that down payment on that first place, and it can earn you $13 million. Do you understand maybe now why real estate is such a great investment? I hope so. Now, this is just one example of somebody buying their first place in their 30s. I know it can take some people even longer to be able to, one, qualify, and two, get that cash, because the cash is really, really hard to save. Believe me, I get it. But do everything that you can if this is your goal. I totally encourage it, and you've seen the numbers and what it can provide. One other thing I want to talk about is refinancing. So remember I said for that first property, I don't recommend refinancing it. Just stick with it for 2 years. Oh, and the reason you want to hold on to it for 2 years is because if you sell your real estate, your primary home, before the 2 years, then you have to pay capital gains on the profit from the sale of the home. Sorry, I hit the mic. But I did want to clarify that. So that's why I recommend holding on to that first property for at minimum 2 years so that you don't get hit with those capital gains taxes. And again, so you're going on to your second home. In your second home, maybe you do need a refinance. Maybe you bought a really, intense fixer-upper. Maybe something happened with the plumbing. Maybe you're like us and you had a slab leak, and maybe you just need to get a cash-out refinance, or so that, you can pay for the slab leak, or maybe, an emergency happened, one of you lost your job. That's also another really cool safety net about having a home, is that you can tap into the equity of your home, basically making your loan amount for your mortgage a little bit larger, rather than paying for, a 20% interest rate financed, credit card, for example. Maybe you want to consolidate all the credit card debt you have and consolidate it into your mortgage so that you're not paying as much interest. So refinancing is perfectly fine, perfectly normal. So many people do it. And it's a tool, actually. If you want to refinance, you can take cash out of your home and actually buy an investment property. That's for another, video, another day. But I don't want you to be scared of refinancing when it's on your second or third home, or maybe even your fourth home. But on that first home, if you know you're buying, your first home is a small property, and you know you're going to sell it soon in order to get a bigger place, I don't recommend refinancing it. That is the video for today. I think I've talked your ear off. I hope you learned, something, anything. Please comment below what you think, if you're shocked, if you're not shocked. And I will do some more videos later on. Catch you later.